You know, in the animal kingdom, you kind of think you know the rules, right? Cheetahs are fast, sloths are slow, and tortoises? Well, they're walking tanks with a big, hard, domed shell. But what if there was a tortoise that just shattered that mold completely?
Okay, let's just get right into it. I want you to try and forget everything you picture when you hear the word tortoise. Instead, imagine one that's quick, that's flexible, and I mean, so flat it genuinely looks like it got into a fight with a steamroller and lost. And get this, when it gets scared, it doesn't pull into its shell, it just bolts.
So, let me introduce you to the Pancake Tortoise. And yes, that's its real name. This thing lives in East Africa, and it's one of the weirdest, coolest creatures out there. The name isn't just for show, either. Its shell is actually flat, kind of soft, and even a little bit bendy. This lets it do things no other tortoise on the planet can.
All right, so let's get into why I'm calling this the untortoised tortoise. To really get it, you've got to look at how it's built. Its whole body is just a masterclass in breaking all the tortoise rules.
Think about your typical tortoise, right? It's basically a living fortress. Heavy, bone-solid, built for defense. But the Pancake Tortoise, it's a whole different game. Its shell is super light and flexible because it's got these little gaps in the bone. So instead of hiding, it runs. Seriously, its entire body is designed for speed and getting away, making it, believe it or not, the fastest and most agile tortoise out there.
And of course, there's a reason for this crazy body plan. It's all about where it lives. You won't find these guys wandering around in open fields. Nope, they live in a very specific place. These rocky hills called kopjes that you find in Kenya and Tanzania, and even a small part of Zambia. And these places are just full of tiny cracks and crevices. And that's the absolute key to how they survive.
Which, brings up a pretty big question. How on earth does a tortoise end up flat? It's actually an amazing story about pressure, predators, and the ultimate game of hide and seek.
So scientists think it happened over a really long time. Its ancestors were probably your standard-issue hard-shelled tortoises, but they were getting hammered by predators. Think eagles, mongooses, that sort of thing. So they started hanging out in those rocky areas for safety, and that kicked off this evolutionary race. The tortoises that could squish themselves into the tightest, safest cracks were the ones that survived, and over generations, that pressure literally squashed them into the flat, speedy little guys they are today.
And this is its superpower. When a predator shows up, it doesn't just crawl into a crack. It bolts into a space that looks way too small. Then it inflates its lungs to puff up its body and plants its legs. It wedges itself in so tight that there is no way a predator is getting it out of there. It's the perfect defense for that very specific home.
But, and this is where the story takes a really dark turn. That incredible adaptation, its greatest strength, has now become its biggest weakness. The very thing that helped it survive is now what's killing it.
See, it's not just eagles and mongooses that noticed how special this tortoise is. We did too. And for the Pancake Tortoise, our attention has been a total curse.
I mean, just look at this. It's just wild. Officially, the Pancake Tortoise is listed as critically endangered. That's like one tiny step away from being gone forever in the wild. But then you hop online and you can find them for sale. For sale. This crazy contradiction is exactly why they're in so much trouble. So what's going on here? Well, it's getting hit from all sides, a real triple threat. You've got the illegal pet trade, because people want this weird, unique animal. Then you have its home, those rocky kopjes, being torn down for farms or for construction. And on top of all that, livestock are eating all the plants that the tortoises need to survive.
But it's not all doom and gloom. This story isn't over yet. There are people on the ground in East Africa, scientists, local communities, conservation groups who are fighting like hell to save this animal. It is a genuine race against time, but they are in it to win it.
And to really get why this is such an uphill battle, you have to know a little bit about their biology, which is, unfortunately, not helping. A female pancake tortoise lays just one egg per year. That's it. So when poachers take them out of the wild, the population just can't bounce back. It makes every single tortoise that's out there unbelievably important.
And of course, that importance, that value, gets twisted. Here's how it works. A trafficker will go to a local village and offer someone maybe $100 to go catch one. Now, if you're living in poverty, $100 is a massive amount of money. It's a tragic but powerful reason for people to get involved.
And that $100 is just the start. That one tortoise gets smuggled into this huge global network, ending up in places like Europe, America, or Asia. And by the time it gets there, the price has jumped to almost $1,000. So you see the problem? a super low birth rate on one side and massive profits on the other. It's a recipe for disaster.
So how do you fight that? Well, Kenya has put together this really ambitious plan. And they're not just doing one thing, they're hitting it from every angle. They're training local people to be tortoise guardians to protect them. They're legally protecting the land they live on, and they're using intel to go after the traffickers themselves. It's a full-on effort.
And there's this great quote from the head of the Kenya Wildlife Service that I think just says it all. This fight isn't just about saving one weird tortoise. It's about protecting a piece of Kenya's heritage. It's about this animal that completely rewrites the rules of nature, but now it completely depends on us to survive.
Think about it. For millions of years, this tortoise figured out the perfect way to beat every predator it faced. It adapted. It hid where nothing could get it. But right now, it's facing its biggest challenge ever. So the final question is, after all that evolution, can it figure out a way to escape us?